Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I am your host tonight, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-hosts, my partners in crime, Nate Green and Brock Davis. Brock, how you doing? Welcome back.
I'm good. Got another flavor for you guys to try.
Have you been watching or listening to any of them? I have my favorite flavor. Body Armor. Peach mango.
That's a good one. I got like 4 of them in the fridge right now.
That is my favorite one. I had the Mamba today. The Mamba is like my second favorite. I'm not going to switch it up too much. I'm a big peach mango fan. I'll tell you that much.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's a very delicious one. So yeah, but I've been reviewing them on here a little bit. Let's get a little review on this one. One sip, everybody knows the rules.
So real quick before I get into that, you need to try orange Clementine.
I haven't seen that one.
It's not one of the sugar-free ones.
Okay.
It tastes kind of like the orange or the peach mango, but obviously no peach, and the Clementine's a little sweeter.
Okay.
And it's pretty nice. Anyways,
what do you got here?
Strawberry lemonade. I know it's probably gonna be backwards for y'all.
Actually, Beyonce got that one, so that's gonna be one that I'll try here in upcoming.
No days. Sugar added, and dude, literally like strawberry lemonade.
We have what do we got? Like a 7.8 point, like everyone's got to go get it. 7 point, like you can go get it.
I'm gonna give this one. Oh man, that one's hard. This one's probably a top 5 for me. I'm gonna say an 8.
An 8, flat 8.
There's not many above it though.
That's good.
There's probably like 2 or 3 10s, and then like 3 that are above an 8.
I gave peach mango an 8.6. I thought that was delicious. I really like that one. I can drink that any day. So
I feel like the lowest one is probably like a 7. All of them are 7 and above, I think.
I forgot which one I had, and I was just okay with it. The first one I tried, strawberry watermelon, I think. It was just like, it's okay. Like yeah. I can drink it for sure, but I was just, I'm
not a huge watermelon and drink guy. Like I have some of the watermelon ones, or the sugar-free ones or whatever that I have, but those are like the 7s, I think, like lower end, but are drinkable.
I'll play. Nate, how you doing?
Well, of course, I've got to be second. You know, the rules state. No, fantastic. Great to be here. Of course.
Always. So did you win tonight?
We did, of course.
Double, triple-double? Single?
I only had a double-double.
You only had a single? Nice.
Only a double-double.
No, Nate plays basketball, guys. So first off, guys, I mean, if Sunday night games just ended for us as we're recording this, congratulations to Derek Ciapala and the Rams. Derek, if you guys don't know, we always talk about him. CEO, basically, I like to consider him the CEO of Talking Halos. He is the CEO of Talking Halos. I mean, he's the man. He's the guy who usually is the host. I've only had the honor of, kind of taking over for him recently because the Rams are doing their thing and he's busy with work. So hopefully we'll be getting him back to host the show because I know that I'm not the best at this, but I enjoy doing it. So congratulations to Derek and the Rams for going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be an absolute blast. Fun 2 weeks here for them talking about it, and hopefully we can get him back on here really soon because I know that he has a lot that he wants to talk about. So guys, as always, I like to start this podcast off with a question of the day, and today's question comes from Ben Verlander. I don't know if you guys saw this one on Twitter. Nate, I'm sure you did because you enjoy scrolling through Twitter all the time. But he said, name a player that is/was hated by a particular fan base. Nate, I'll start with you.
It sucks because you use mine, so I don't think I'm allowed to use it. But for the fans out there, I was going to say, for the fans out there who have not seen Jared on Twitter, AJ Przinsky for the Angels, that was the most obvious one. Yeah. But I'll go with another one, A-Rod for the Red Sox. I think A-Rod for the Red Sox, that was like the number one guy to hate, even though the Yankees had a bunch of guys on that team, but it was 100% A-Rod every single time for Red Sox fans.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones like Roger, like Bond.
Mets. Clemens and Mets.
Clemens and the Mets. Like,
after the Piazza thing.
Yeah, because of the Piazza thing. I know that's, I don't know, like it's
Carlos
kind of
Correa and the Dodgers.
Carlos Correa in any Major League Baseball team. Any Astro, basically, in any Major League Baseball team at the moment.
Manny Machado, I believe, Brewers and Red Sox? There were 2 there.
Yeah. Dodgers, too. I feel like that was the one.
No. The Dodgers, they had him. It was one of those things where it was like we didn't like him when he was on the Orioles because he was kind of bush. But then when he was on our team, it was like, we'll protect him until, we'll protect him. It's like, the dude like clearly stepped on a guy's foot, and it's like, no, that was a complete accident.
It's all good. It's all good.
100%.
What you got?
Dude, I can't even think of one.
I know it's tough, right? Like A-Rod is an easy one. Pedro in the Yankees, like you can
Like I could think of like specific scenarios that like specific rivalries that were like I think were short, but weren't like long lasting, if that makes sense. Like just little incidents that happened during a game, but I'm not sure if it had a long lasting effect on a fan base, if that makes sense. But I can't think of specific people.
Bryce Harper and Hunter Strickland. That's the best one.
Yeah,
Bryce. That one was good.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's just player though. Like, I don't know if fans I feel like are like.
I feel like most fans like the action unless there's a specific story behind the beef. Like, you know, Machado, he's always has something going on from the past with some team, you know. Like, dude, when he was on the Orioles, he was a nightmare. But I specifically, what came to my mind when I thought about that was Weaver and Seager, that whole at bat.
Weaver and the Mariners would probably be a good one. I feel like if you talk to a Mariners fan, they'd be like, we don't have too many people to hate, but Jared Weaver's one of them.
But I remember talking.
Tigers.
Oh,
yes.
I think Ibar and the Tigers.
Ibar and the Tigers is a good one too because
the JV bunt. Ooh,
yeah,
that was a good one. That was a great one.
No, there's just little things like I'm trying to think of players that have pimped balls because like I know that like, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this one.
Jose Bautista won. Rangers and Jose Bautista.
Yeah, that's good. That's solid. I mean, I wonder if Albert Bell has had to have had. I know I'm bringing it back to like the '90s, but Albert Bell has to have somebody. Like the first thing that comes to mind is
the one where he ran over the second baseman.
Tatis. Is that Fernando Tatis? Oh no, it's Fernando Vina that's gets run over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bautista and the Rangers because of that pimp job and the fight.
Yep.
With Odor.
I was gonna say Odor and the Blue Jays. Blue Jays hate Odor.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. And dude, freaking Jared Weaver had an interview on Starting Nine about that whole Seager and him incident, and it was so funny.
I'm gonna give you all this 82. I think
I love that.
Get in the box.
Yeah, right. Just get in the fuck.
82 right to the ribs.
Yeah, I love it. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Like I think like as you start thinking about it, more and more pops up. Like I mean, you just saw what we were.
Yeah,
I would kill to get Weaver on the show, dude.
I don't know if I have those strings. I can try my best. I don't know if I have those strings. So
make it happen, Captain.
All right. Hey, if we don't have any more, let's get this show going a little bit farther. And I just want to say thanks so much for listening and watching this show. If you're watching us here on YouTube again, hello. Good to see you guys there. As Pitching Ninja shirt, go get one of those. Sports and breast cancer on that one. Fantastic thing it's going to. You could follow us, subscribe wherever you're listening or watching us here, Talking Halos. Again, thank you for making us the best podcast out there. I really do believe it. We are the best, most consistent out there. I mean, best at talking baseball too. I mean, we can just come out here and, just drink a beer with us. I think that's the way.
Or Body Armor.
Body Armor. Drink a Body Armor with us. Yeah.
Non-sponsored yet.
So, guys, if you could follow us wherever, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we have all those going out there right now. It's a lot of fun. If you want to shoot us any questions on there, it's a blast. Like I said, I think we had a question from Sam Riley, who is from New Zealand. Brock, I think you kind of missed on that. You missed on that one last week, but he's from New Zealand. He listens to the show. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know people are listening to our show all over the world. Absolute blast with that. And guys, again, if you had questions, shoot them to us wherever you're listening to it. I don't mind. We get you on the show too. I don't mind getting anybody on the show that wants to jump on with us and talk Little Angels baseball, get a little controversy, especially since we don't have a lot to talk about. It took us 15 minutes to figure out what we're talking about today. So yeah, if you could follow myself on Twitter, Jared_Tim's, Nate at NateGreen34, and Brock at BDROX8. So guys, I know this certain player, and I'll just say it now, Anthony Rendon, gets a lot of shit on social media. I feel like anytime you bring up anything Anthony Rendon, it's like Angels are overpaying this guy. I think that we're smart enough to know that the Angels are not overpaying him, but it brings up a kind of a valid question, and I'll start with you, Brock. But are you worried about Anthony Rendon at all? Like, are the haters actually right with being worried about Anthony Rendon?
See, this is where I get crucified because, like I have said multiple times on the show before, I have a tendency to be the positive type Angels fan. We have many different types of fans across many different sports and whatnot, but I think the Angels fans we really have two types. We have the ones that are optimistic, and we have the ones where every move we make is bad. I think there's few and far in between where we're like, we can differentiate.
There are smart. Are you saying there are few and far between smart fans compared to?
No, I don't think you're dumb if you're negative necessarily. Because if you look at our track record, like realistically, the smarter people are the negative ones. If you really think about it,
100%.
Because they're being realistic to what we've seen. But you know what? Let's just scratch that. I'm not worried. But like I said, I tend to be more positive than most when it comes to Angels baseball, which tends to let me down harder. So you can go about however way you want. If you have a more negative outlook of Anthony Rendon and say we're overpaying for this guy, he's not worth the money, and then next year he comes out and drops 6 or 7 WAR season, well, you're going to be more surprised and more delighted that he did that because you weren't really expecting it from him. Whereas me, I'm like, go out there and get me a 4 to 6 WAR season because I think you're 100% capable of doing that. That's what we're paying you for. Make it happen. But I don't know. I'm not too worried, I don't think.
Yeah, no, and it's weird that you bring up WAR because
I think a 3-year outlook is good for him.
Yeah. Well, here's why I bring this up, because I actually put out the Angels
we lose Jared
streamer. Oh, did you guys lose me? Are you losing me right now?
Just for a second.
Internet's bad. Internet's bad tonight, guys. I apologize. It's probably the 20-degree weather I have going on outside or something like that. But you're losing me again, it looks like. We'll figure it out.
We're good.
We'll get this.
We're good.
We'll make this happen. We'll make this happen tonight. So the reason why I brought this up, I brought in the Fangraphs streamers or steamers projections. It gave Anthony Rendon a 4.3 F WAR projection, which I think is fantastic. It's going to be top. I think that was top 20 in Major League Baseball for WAR in a projection. Slashing 272, 367, and 467. If you just look at batting average, Mike Trout's projected a 271 batting average by steamers, and a lot of times for projections they always like to go under. So even Trout's projected a 6.1 WAR, even though he's probably going to get like an 8 or 9 WAR at the end of the day. 127 WRC plus, 31 doubles, and 21 home runs. And everybody was like, and like literally like the only thing that anybody ever said was Anthony Rendon is like overpaid. Anthony Rendon, why should we trust Anthony Rendon? It's like there's been no reason why Anthony Rendon he hasn't failed the Angels yet, right?
Dude, he had a good 20.
Exactly. They're like, it's the only reason why the Angels fans hate him is because first off, they think he's lazy, and he is not lazy by any means. I mean, I understand where fans are coming from with the lazy standpoint, but he's not lazy just because he stands up there at the batting stance and he's just super calm and relaxed, and he plays defense super calm and relaxed. Like he's the best defender and one of the best defenders in baseball.
Don't say the best, because
he's not the best. He's one of the best.
I was going to say Nolan Arenado is going to come on the show and beat you.
No. Anthony Rendon is the second best third base defensive third
that's fine.
In baseball, behind Matt Chapman, and Nolan Arenado is really not that close to him for me. I don't think he's that good of a defender. I think he's a great defender. I think he's in the top 5, but I don't think he's anywhere near Matt Chapman or Anthony Rendon. I think they're
it's going to be
much
close.
better. Yeah. I mean, you can look up those stats if you want, but I just don't see why fans are saying this. Like, there is no reason that Anthony Rendon has given them zero reason besides an injury. Like if fans are like this, go look at Mike Trout. Why are Angels fans not worried about Mike Trout? I mean, they should probably be more worried about Trout than they are Rendon. In my opinion, I think Rendon's more of a surefire than Mike Trout at the moment, which is weird to say.
No, I agree. Look at his peak.
Yeah.
His peak is such an insurmountable thing for most players to even reach that he has a lot more to lose. Well, he can have a hiccup, and then he only has to lose 2 WAR, and it's like, oh my God, he didn't have a 10 WAR season. This isn't Trout.
Exactly. No.
I mean?
Mike Trout's so good that like his decline people are going to be like, oh, it's over. And he's going to still be having like 7, 6, 5 4 seasons. And they're going to be like, oh, Trout's not who he used to be. And it's like, he's still putting up better numbers than 95% of the league, you know? So like, I totally understand the Trout argument as well.
Like what's elite? Like top 20? You think that's elite? Like in that category?
5 WAR is going to put you in the top 20 every single season. I think 5 WAR is.
But I'm saying like, if you had to give a number, like the top blank amount of players you would consider elite.
5.
Top 5.
3 to 5 or elite, like the best top 3. Like, but like you look at it right now in baseball, it's Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, and then who's that third guy? Ronald Acuna right now. Like those, like I think Trout and Betts are
Soto.
like that same. Yeah, Soto maybe. You know, I think that like you need to find guys that have put up those numbers for a consistent amount of time. And right now it's Mike Trout and Mookie Betts, and you could probably put Anthony Rendon in that if you look at his stats. Like they're that good over that time with the Nationals, that I don't think people understand how good he really was. One of the most underrated players. But you know, back on to Rendon here, Nate. I don't know if you have any say in this. Are you worried about Anthony Rendon next year?
I'm not worried. I could see why people are worried. This has happened to us a lot where we sign a guy to a big contract and he has an injury and then he comes back and he has another injury and things like that. And you know, that's always going to be a worry thing. The other thing why I could see that some fans were upset is, you know, you bring up the 20 really good season, but honestly, the first half of the season, he was not good. It took him like 2, maybe 3 weeks to get going, which is a third of the season.
Can I rebuttal?
And you can, but it's a third of the season. And I'm not agreeing with them. I'm just saying it's a third of the season.
I think he had a low 2s batting average if you look at the first like 50 games of the season, but his on base percentage, which is what a lot of people care about. I know, Nate, we don't look at batting average that much anymore, and I know
it doesn't matter. His job was to drive in runs behind Mike Trout. That was his job. He was getting on base. He was getting on base, but he wasn't driving in runs. That was his job.
What does Billy Beane want though?
Billy Beane doesn't have a World Series, does he? No, that's what I thought.
Neither do the Angels.
Billy Beane,
the Angels right now. The Angels don't have won a World Series since 2002. So, I mean,
when has Billy Beane ever won a World Series?
That's fair, 100%. Not, you know, making a joke there, Nate. You know,
I'm just saying, like you can throw the money ball at me all you want, but like his job, the reason we signed him was because he had 120 RBIs the year before.
The reason that the Angels signed him was because first off, they wouldn't have had a third baseman, and second off, was to give Mike Trout protection, not to hit him in. It was to get Mike Trout more pitches to hit. That's why Mike Trout was being walked 150 times. That's why Shohei Ohtani got the Mike Trout treatment last year, because who do you have hitting behind him? Phil Gosselin and Jack Mayfield?
Nobody.
That's why. And let's be fair. I know we've been tough on Shohei Ohtani, and we don't necessarily believe in what Shohei Ohtani did. But you look at the second half, Shohei Ohtani had nobody protecting him. And that's why he didn't get any pitches. He got very few pitches to hit. He got walked a bunch.
It was terrible, dude. It was terrible.
Exactly. I think at one point, like I had stats out there that Shohei Ohtani had walked. Like he had like a 600 on base percentage. Like he was putting up Barry Bonds numbers for a 20 game span. I know that's very little, but he had like a 600 or 700 on base percentage for a while. I know that's probably pushing. He
was getting like one good pitch to hit the whole at bat, and he would pass on it, and then nothing after.
He was literally Barry Bonds for like a 30 game span last year. And then granted,
don't say that. Don't say that. Barry Bonds is a different person.
I said Shohei Ohtani was a different person for a
no. Barry Bonds is a different person.
Hold on.
Barry Bonds did it for an entire season. You can never put anyone in the same category as Barry Bonds after hitting 73 bombs and walking as much as he did. You cannot do that. Just take it back.
Shohei Ohtani was on pace for 75 home runs for like the first half of the season.
And I'm sure at one point Barry Bonds was on pace for over 100 home runs at the first half of his season. Yes. So it's a totally different player. 100% totally different player. And Barry Bonds played.
Okay, would it be better if I said Shohei Ohtani put up video game like numbers instead of Barry Bonds?
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Barry Bonds.
But no, you cannot offend one of the greatest home run hitters of all time.
Shohei Ohtani was one of the greatest home run hitters of all time last year.
Oh my gosh. We're going to say he's the greatest home run hitter of one half of a season.
Exactly. I mean, you look at like good first half of the seasons, and like, you know, like what comes to mind, like Ubaldo Jimenez had one of the best first halves. He had like 20 wins in the first half. He was an unbelievable. Like he had like what? Okay, he didn't have 20 wins. He had like 16 wins in the first half of the season. I think he ended up with 19 or something like that. That one
year.
You better
make sure your stats are correct.
Go look at his first half. Go find his stats and tell me how many wins he had.
Yeah, the stat police are going to come after us.
I know.
I think he was like 11-3 with a 1.6
in the first half.
Yes.
He had like, I think he had more than that. I think he was on pace for like 27 wins or something like that. He had like 15 wins in the first half before the All-Star break. That's when he made the start. He had a good amount of wins, and that was a Shohei Ohtani thing.
So, to tack on to what Nate's talking about with Rendon's job was driving in runs. Now let's think about, hypothetically, we get a healthy full season out of Trout, Rendon, and Ohtani. Okay. How are we placing these guys? I know you guys did a best lineup in baseball show that I wasn't here for, but how are we placing them in order?
Uno, dos, tres. You have to. I mean, I know.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I don't even really care about that. Like, I figured it'd be a combination of either 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
But I mean, which people where? Where are we putting them?
It's right, left, right.
Yeah, you got to go right, left, right. Shohei's got to be in between them, I think. You have to. I mean, knowing what Madden does and knowing what, how he likes to play the game, you can set it up right, left. You put Walsh in the 4 hole and then right again if you want to put Upton or Adele in the 5 hole. Then you can go lefty in the 6 hole in Marsh if you want, hypothetically. Then you can go. So
you're putting Trout. If you had it your way, you would do Trout 1, Ohtani 2, Rendon 3, Walsh 4, and then Upton 5. Adele 5.
I think for me, this is the way that I look at batting first, second, third. Those 3 spots get 100 more plate appearances. Again, don't quote me on this. 100 more plate appearances than the rest. I want my 3 best players to get 100 more plate appearances. Like, if you're putting Brandon Marsh, no offense to Brandon Marsh, no offense to David Fletcher, no offense to any of those guys, but like, you got these guys 1, 2, 3, right? Like, get 100 more plate appearances to those 3 guys, and you get like, how many more home runs? 5, 6, 7 more home runs in 100 plate appearances. You get on base. Mm-hmm. You get on base 35 more times with those guys. Like, that's a huge difference. I know it's dragged out across the season. That's a huge difference if you're getting on base 35 to 40 more times with those guys instead of, whatever it is with, Brandon Marsh or David Fletcher. And Brandon Marsh could be a legit leadoff hitter for all we know.
Question.
Yes.
How about, I know this probably sounds weird, especially with how much power and RBIs he had last year. But I think with Trout coming off of injury, and we've already seen it for these last few years, but Trout's not much of a base stealer anymore, right? So what if we did Ohtani, Trout, Walsh, Rendon?
Yeah, 100%.
Get Ohtani up there. He's stealing bases. Get Trout up there still on the top of the order because he's still got some speed, obviously. And then get Walshy in there, who I think can definitely bring the power in that 3 spot. And then Rendon, he needs to bring back that RBI power, put him in that 4 spot. Bada bing.
You can put those 4 guys in any order. And I think, you could throw – I think you use those 4 guys almost in any order, I think.
You put Walsh leadoff, I will hit you.
No, not Walsh. He's talking about Ohtani, Trout, Rendon. And I think he has a point.
You said 4.
I think
no. It started with 3.
As long as Walsh isn't leading off.
But I think you could really, other than Walsh, justify any order for those 3 in some type of way.
Except for I don't want to see Trout in the 4 hole, because Trout is your best hitter. Trout is the best hitter in baseball, best pure hitter in baseball, best hitter, whatever you want to say. You have nobody behind him at that point. Like you have Upton or you have Adele or you have Marsh, whoever you want to put behind him, or Stassi, whoever it is. But you don't have that dude. Like, you're not putting Trout in between Ohtani and Rendon or something like that, or you're not. So that's where I stand.
I still vote Trout leadoff.
So do I.
Even he'll walk a lot to lead off the game. It allows Ohtani to hit with the right side open a little bit because the first baseman's going to be holding. We don't need Trout stealing bases. Ohtani's going to hit baseballs in the gap. It's going to be fine. Plus, I don't think we really want Shohei Ohtani stealing bases. He needs to be wrapped in bubble wrap anyway. And if he's starting to steal bases, like, it could be Mike Trout situation with Shohei Ohtani, and there goes our number 1 pitcher and our number 2 hitter, number 3
I liked
hitter.
him stealing bases on my fantasy team last year, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So moral of the story here, guys, we are not worried about Anthony Rendon. No. Okay, cool. So all the haters out there that say Anthony Rendon is washed up, the Anthony Rendon contract sucks, you're wrong. Like, and I'm not a big fan of telling people that they're straight up wrong with stuff because I think there's opinion to both sides. But I think this is a good time to say that you're probably wrong on this situation. And I can bet a lot of money that Anthony Rendon is going to have, be right back up there. I know he had hip surgery, I think, which, Nate, I know that worries you a little bit.
Nope, not for a third baseman, just for a catcher.
All right, good.
Just for a catcher.
Okay.
I mean, you have to squat and be really put a lot of tax on the hip, and that's different as a catcher than a third baseman.
Hot corner.
He is the Garrett Anderson of this team. Honestly, let's just be fair.
Everybody loved Garrett Anderson, so that's a fair comp. I like that.
They hated the way he played defense. They said he was lazy. They said the way he went about it was just lazy. And Anthony Rendon, very similar guy, very quiet too. He's not a huge talker, not a big meme guy. Very, very similar.
I agree. So, yeah, moral of the story here, guys. No Anthony Rendon. Don't be worried about him. He's going to be perfectly fine. So on to our last subject here before we let everybody go. Brought up by Brock here, and I know that we don't have a lot of Angels stuff to talk about, and this is not Angels because the Angels haven't been in one of these in 7 years. But best playoff games that we have ever seen. Brock, I'll start with you because I know you had a couple, and you can take whichever ones you want. You're totally fine. We can think of other ones.
Well, I mean, obviously, we all want to talk about the 2002 World Series, but I think I'm the youngest one here. And to be honest, I barely remember it being on the TV when I was that age. So what I have seen with my own 2 eyes that I can remember and actually remember being in the moment and emotional about them was probably one of my favorites was probably the 2016 Game 7. I think that was back and forth and just so, just the Cubs being there. I think, we all got kind of used to it right then and there when they were kind of on that hot streak with all those guys on there. But just in that moment, it was like crazy and just that back and forth. And then it's like right when they thought they would have it, they would lose it. And then it ended up with them getting it. And just that game was crazy, super crazy. That's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah. And the way that I like to look at it was 22 Jump Street when Channing Tatum's running around saying all that stuff after they find out. I don't know if anybody's seen 22 Jump Street, but after
I have, it's been a long time.
Yeah. No, that's what I did. It was unbelievable. That was an unbelievable game. Probably my favorite game. Favorite World Series game that I can think of in the past 5 years, I'd say. Though there have been some good ones. There have really been some good ones in the past 5 years. So,
yeah, the World Series game, like when Jansen blew the game against the Rays, that was kind of a fun one, but that one didn't happen, so I'm not going to count that one.
2020.
No, it doesn't. So for me, I'm actually not going to go World Series on this one. One of my favorite games that I got to watch, and I watched this from pitch 1 all the way to, I think he threw a little over 100 pitches, but Roy Halladay's first playoff start in 2010 against the Reds, he throws a no-hitter. Big win. First time that ever happened that a guy had made his playoff debut and thrown a no-hitter in his first playoff start. So that was one of my favorites. Loved watching Doc Holliday pitch. Hall of Famer, just really, really cool pitcher. So that one is me.
An artiste at his craft. Yeah, definitely. I got 2 because we're going to get shamed if we don't mention both of them. One of them, I guess you can put an asterisk next to. But we actually didn't even talk about beforehand. But the first one's going to be the Rangers-Cardinals for me. I thought that was an unbelievable game. That's probably one of the best postseason games of all time that we've seen. Because, we can talk about the 2002 World Series, like Brock said, but I don't remember it. Nate, I think you went to it.
I do remember it, actually.
I do remember it, yeah, because you were there and such like that. But I
was not there.
You weren't? I thought you went.
I went to one playoff game, but not a World Series game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was too young. I think I was like 7 or something like that. Nate, that would make you 6, and Brock 5, maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna say 5 if that's correct.
We were both 7. We're the same age.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forget about that. I remember you're a grade younger. That's right.
Yeah.
But that Rangers Cardinals game for me, unbelievable. And then I know you want to put an asterisk next to it. It's still an unbelievable game, whether you know what pitch is coming or not. The Astros Dodgers game where it was just back and forth and back and forth. Like
That was crazy.
that was unbelievable. Like what no matter what you think about that game, like about the Astros, that game is unbelievable. Like you couldn't written it any better. That's what I look at. Like when you look at best games of all time, like can you write it like that before the game? Like like seventh inning they're going to score the top of the seventh, bottom of the seventh, they're going to both score. Top of the eighth, bottom of the eighth, they're both going to score. Top of the eighth, top of the ninth, bottom of the ninth, they're both going to score. Like it just like I felt like it just constantly back and forth. And I know it wasn't like that. I think it was like sixth, seventh, and eighth. They all scored runs or something stupid like that. And it was like they took out Kershaw. Like Kershaw got lit up, and I know that they might have known what was coming, but so be it. I just thought that was one of the best games. That's honestly one of my favorite games.
What year was it? Fairly recently, I think it was either 19 or 20. Shoot, it might even been 21. It was the Yankees Astros when Altuve walked off on Chapman.
Is that this year?
No, that was
last year.
It was 2019. It was the year after the Dodgers Astros World Series.
Yeah, that I remember that game was very good. I don't remember any specific moments other than Chapman's smile after Altuve walked off on him, but I just remember that game being really, really good.
Altuve had a buzzer. Yeah.
Yeah, was that the one where he said, "Don't do this"?
Like because he had a bad tattoo that apparently he didn't have. So not gonna say anything, but there was a buzzer there.
Yeah.
I didn't say it though.
Well, still a crazy moment.
Yeah.
We all feel. I think we all feel like the fans and us, maybe not Astros fans, but everyone else on the planet that loves baseball feels the same way about that. So we don't have to get into that. But great, baseball moments in the moment all feel the same.
Yeah. I'll give one more because I know we're gonna get shit if we don't mention this one, guys. The Rangers Blue Jays game.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
The one that
started, pimp job.
I know we already talked about it, the Bautista thing that happened, but yeah, that was a fantastic game too. I was working and I was watching that game.
What year was that?
2015.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Brett Phillips airplane. Love that one.
15 was the year Donaldson won the MVP, and I thought Trout should have won it, right?
Yes. 15 or 14 was like that, I think. There were a couple years in a row.
14 was Trout. 15 was Donaldson, and then I think there was one Miguel Cabrera year, obviously not his Triple Crown year, but his other year that he won. Yeah. It was either 12 or 13 because I think Miguel Cabrera won back-to-back. One of the years wasn't a Triple Crown, and I thought Trout should have won that too.
Yeah. So, well, guys, I think it's a good time to wrap it up. Brock, you got any final thoughts for everybody? I know we want baseball back, but anything else besides baseball back? Because, Nate, you've given that like 8 or 9 times in a row now.
No, I don't. I want to hear a little more news, a little more of a resolution about lockout this week. Hopefully, I think we might make some good progress this week, and hopefully we get a definitive, on track for on-time baseball this year. I would like to see that during my work week.
I think so too. Well, here for final thoughts, let's give a prediction on when we think when we think an agreement's going to come down. And Nate, Brock, I'll let you think about that. Nate, I know you kind of have an idea what you think.
March 26th.
Interesting.
March 26th, what?
This year, March 26th.
No. I'm saying, like, is that when you think that's the agreement's going to happen?
Yep, that's when they'll figure it out.
Okay. I want to be a little more optimistic. I'm going to say March 10th.
Okay.
February is the start of spring, so I think it's going to be after that. We need a hashtag Manfred must go.
Or sorry, not March 10th. February 10th. Sorry. I think we're getting on-time baseball. February 10th. Sorry.
I like it. I'm on that same track as you, Brock. However, I would love to see it go long so that the players and the owners, because the owners don't want it to go long and the players don't want it to go long. Both sides don't want it to go long. There's only one person that wants it. There's only one person that really wants it to go wrong, and Nate, you just mentioned it. So if it does go long, I think that somebody gets fired, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. And I don't think a lot of fans would mind seeing that. I don't think the players would mind seeing that. So I think at the end of the day, that's probably what's best for baseball. I know we don't have a lot to talk about here, but
don't say his name. We're going to get censored.
I know.
I was going to say, are we allowed to say hashtag he must go? Is that allowed? Twitter, do your thing.
Well, who's he? Who's he?
Oh, no, they know.
No, not them, not him. No,
Yeah,
we're talking about the other guy.
Yeah,
they know. They know. Twitter, do your thing.
Do your thing. Yeah. So
depending on how our listeners feel, we could say him. We could call him Beetlejuice, or we could say Rendon.
I'm with it. So that's my two schools of thought, on that. So guys, just want to say thanks so much for listening and watching here at Talking Halos. If you could subscribe wherever you're listening or watching, leave us a review, whether it's good or bad. Let us get better or worse at our job here. And not that it's a job. We don't get paid. We do this for fun. So you can follow myself at Jared_Tims on Twitter. You can follow Nate at NateGreen34, and you can follow Brock at BDROX8. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching, and have a great rest of your day.